Trailer Trash Talks, Hurricane League Fantasy Talk. This is our Week 10 review show. This seemed like a strange week in the NFL, but the games in our league were predictable. I went 3-1 on my picks this year. That's sadly the best I've been so far. But let's jump right into the matchups. First up, we have Mitchell and Justin. Now, in all seriousness, I want to congratulate Justin for putting together a shitty lineup that, thanks to overperformances by Brady, Wayne Gallman, and Matt Prater, was able to overcome the woeful beating that he was projected to get. He had, I think, 5 non-regulars starting for him because of injuries and buys and shit like that. And Mitchell was ultimately fucked by Drew Brees' osteoporosis-ridden bones. Drew Brees and Michael Thomas combined for 12.6 points. Mitchell always talks about chasing the stack, which it appeared he was trying to do on Mahomes' bye week. And in turn, he got fucked by being a homer, which is the risk you run into on the chasing of the stack play. If that team doesn't have a good game, you're fucked. Mitchell showed us that this week. Justin wins 123.2 to 98.4. Also, this drops Mitchell to 0-5 on the road this season. That is obviously shitty management. Next up, we have, and both teams now stand at 6-4. We have Blake and Jordan. This game, you've got two likely shit bowl contestants. They both came in tied at 3-6. They're both last place in their divisions. Jordan was 5th in points this season. Blake was dead last in points this season. Jordan won by less than 9 points. Blake, had he started Mike Evans, wins this game. He started Metcalf and A.J. Brown over Evans. They combined for 7.9 points. Evans had 19 on his bench. He starts Evans, he wins. On the other hand, Jordan left 68 points on his bench between Godwin, Ronald Jones, and Deontay Johnson. And James Conner only put up 8 points, but he was able to overcome that by playing Blake. Blake falls to 3-7, keeping my call for the under on 4.5 wins in play. Jordan's now at 4-6. Nick and Brian. This was an interesting game. Brian came in at 4-5. Nick came in at 5-4. The tight end position in this game combined for 3.5, less than 3.5 points. Josh Allen and DeAndre Swift went off. Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson both had good games, and Brian was literally getting fucked by everyone on his team not named Alvin Kamara or Stephon Diggs. And Jared Cook really got him. That 3.3 combined tight end points, those all came from Nick's side. He got a big 0 from Jared Cook. We're now at the point where this bald bastard is leading the league in season-long points scored. But he's lost back-to-back weeks to the lowest scoring team in the league and the second lowest scoring team in the league. Brian, it looks like, is going to have to win out to have a chance to avoid the shit bracket on the playoffs. But Justin may have given him a lifeline, of course. As I mentioned early, in a previous video, Justin felt the need to drop Ezekiel Elliott for, I think he dropped him to pick up Jerry Jeudy. But Justin, I have to ask, you need a second defense more than you need Ezekiel Elliott? You have the Rams defense on your bench. You have, I think, Baltimore on your roster. And you value both of those more season long than Ezekiel Elliott. Alright, well, Brian probably has his golden goose, his way out of the shit bracket, thanks to Justin. Hopefully he pushes Justin's ass down there because of that. Brian now drops to 4-6. Nick is now a quiet 6-4 and on a 3-game win streak. Last matchup of the week is me and Dusty. Look, it wasn't pretty by any means. It took Dusty starting a player that was injured. But, you know, I kind of offset that with less than 2 points from Travis Fulgham. I literally won the week by that big-ass catch from Hopkins to win the game. That was 11-point-something points. I won by that or less. So, thank you, D-Hop. I appreciate it. I don't lose back-to-back weeks. Alright, this one is for the ladies in the house.
Certified free, 7 days a week, wet ass pussy, make that pull out game week.
Shit's weak!
Yeah. You're fucking with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop, it's some wet ass pussy. Give it all you got for that wet ass pussy. Macaroni in a pot, it's some wet ass pussy. Give it all you got for this wet ass pussy.
Alright, so the power rankings at this point following week 10 of the season. Coming in once again at number 8 is Blake. He started to get off on a good footing last week and then forgot to play Mike Evans this week and lost. Number 7, Dusty. He's had quite a drop, but he is now, I think, on a 4-game lose streak. I mean, look, he still theoretically has a shot to at least make it to the upper half of the shit bracket, you know. So we'll see. But Dusty is in at 7. At 6 is B-Rye. Look, man, I know you have a points lead over Jordan, but the 2-game losing streak is hard to ignore. I think you've got it in you to turn it around. I'm sure of it. Are you going to do it? Who knows? But, yeah, number 6 right now, after 10 weeks of play, is Brian. Number 5 is Jordan, fresh off of his victory over Blake. Not much to say about Jordan. He's had some tough luck. He's put up big games only to lose to somebody that's putting up bigger numbers. I mean, it is what it is at this point. He's a couple games out of the playoffs, but I think Jordan's just playing to avoid the punishment this year. I don't think he's really thinking he's going to win with the way his record has been. Number 4. Well, you know what? First of all, 2, 3, and 4 here, I think you can make the case for any order. You can make the case for Nick at number 2 because of his impressive win streak that he's now on. He's tied for the best record in the league. You can make the case for Justin at 2 because he is the division leader opposite myself. You can make the case for Mitchell at 2 because he has the most points scored of the 3 with that record. For this week, I'm going to have Nick coming in at 4. I think you, again, can make the case he's the best of these 3 teams, but we'll let week 11 play out. I have Justin at 3 and Mitchell at 2. And, I mean, I was at 1 again. Again, we didn't do the power ranking segment last week, but Mitchell did temporarily, by split decision amongst the voters, take the lead. But it's back to its rightful owner now. So, yeah, that was week 10. You all played exceptionally shitty. Get your waivers in. It's Wednesday. They're going to go through in a few hours, and I'm sure that you're going to leave me a lot of good shit because you either don't set your waivers or you make shitty decisions. Alright, so once again, you can all suck my dick. Have a good night.